Station Banter with Tony Smith. Riser.
Indeed.
Welcome back to the studio. And it's my last Banter show, friends, for a while. But it's good. I had to take my old mate Rowan down for the banter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had to take it down for the
This
banter.
here. Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Yo-ho!
Hey! Yeah.
When you hit our man there, Sean.
He caught it. He went up for the hat. He caught the hat.
He caught it in one hand.
Yeah, he was good.
Not two hands,
What
one.
could he not do with a slither, I ask you?
Oh, he'd be a lethal man, wouldn't he? Lethal man with a hurl.
I would like to welcome you this afternoon to my show. It's so good to be... Oh, sorry, Tony, I'm getting confused.
Well, thanks very much for speaking on my behalf there, Rowan. That was very kind of you. Razor Sean. Sean Byrne, the cameraman.
Ventriloquist, I can talk her, Tony. Unless you're not moving, it's glad I am to hear with you.
Only in the studio, only in the Banter show, friends.
I want to give you this, since you're going away from here. This I want to inspire you.
Go for it.
Are you listening? It's very short.
I'm listening, brother.
If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you and make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet never look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master. If you can think and not make thoughts your aim. If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same. If you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you've given your life to broken, and stoop and build them up again with worn-out tools. And if you can make one heap of all your winnings, and risk it on one turnip, pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there's nothing in you, except the will that cries and says, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
Razor Rowan, I've done all that. But anyway, moving on swiftly.
Here we are.
Welcome back to the studio.
Good to see you.
Good to have this man and always have the banter with him. We don't see each other all the time. We're passing each other.
We probably, do you know what they say? Good neighbours, good fence makes good neighbours. And that's the case with us because we're both too individualistic. We'd annoy each other, I think. Eventually. Put ourselves out.
You couldn't put us in the same room for a full day.
No, it would be like cats. No, that's dogs do that. Right, where are you going to take me here? What are we going to talk about?
First of all, I want to give out my shout-outs for today. I want to shout out to everybody that come into the Banter show all throughout the whole term of being here.
Here.
Lovely kind masters, PK Drumbox down in Lurgan. A big shout out to the campaign for Shanine out in Balik, Shanine Smith. Our lovely sister Louise in here. And Louise is getting a Friday slot.
God love her.
She's getting my Friday slot.
Isn't it great?
So it's terrific. So Louise, best wishes to you, Shanine and Tara and the whole family. Bosco Boxers, Adrian Patterson, Barry Tucker, Gerard Moore, the Bosco Boxers themselves. Lads, yous are all fabulous, fantastic sportsmen. Honestly,
they're good people.
The work that these guys put into their boxing is astonishing.
Patterson, that name Patterson, he was in boxer in Newry 60 years ago when I was a boy. Adrian Patterson, Newry, 60 years ago, Orior Road. No, Slieve Gullion Road.
So that must be his grandfather or something?
I don't know.
There's one for you, Adrian. Check that one out. Johnny Starr, he's got a new CD out. It's his last CD, according to Johnny. He's not well. I put the CDs in Carlin's record. They're in memory of his late son, Brian, who died on August the 20th last year. So get out and show a wee bit of support there. It's for Irish country fans. Get out, check it out. Really good stuff. Marty Cullen, good man, your short film was screened yesterday in the Queen's Film Theatre in Belfast, the Fly at Garrick. Well done, Marty. Irish showreels, A big shout out to Phil Howard and Joseph E. Sultana. Big film coming out next year in England, so giving the lads a shout out. And to Gino, Aidan, Q and Dale, the lads, you are fantastic. It was great fun working with you all year. So
Here, here.
that's us, Rowan.
Here, we're ready to
Now
go.
we can start our banter, brother. Now we can start our banter.
You're taking what is it? You're going. This is very, very interesting. You're going for what is it? A 6-month copulation. No, sabbatical. That's what it is.
Sabbatical. Well, a 6-month copulation, it would take a lot out of you. You know what I mean?
No, but you'd rest. You wouldn't be constantly copulating.
Well, that's what I thought you were insinuating.
No, not
just
all
there.
the time.
I mean, that would be.
There would need to be room for chat. You know, has your taxi arrived yet?
Yeah, well, it'd be a marathon. That'd be the biggest marathon. You know, big shout out to Bootsy and all the marathon.
Hi, you Bootsy. Hi, you all the marathon guys. Hi, you postman, big tall red-haired fellow who won the marathon.
Oh yes,
does
big,
wonderful
big
things.
Convery.
Convery's a good
Big
guy.
Convery.
He
Oh,
is
they're
indeed.
all. I'll tell you what. I have to give you all credit where credit's due. The amount of marathons, the amount of triathlons. Rowan, these guys are serious.
But they're built for it. We're not.
We're
built for close. We would be all right in the wrestling ring.
They're built for speed. We're built for comfort.
We're built to do the close quarter stuff.
Oh yes, we can do that. You know it.
We've done it.
So how are you? How are you doing?
I'm great. I've never been better. I feel very, very warm and good and happy and content and positive and efficacious and joyful and spiritual and loving and all the bloody rest of it, you know. So it's the way it is. I'm very content. Book's coming out at the end of July.
Your book's coming out the end of July.
And it's now, George Kingsnorth of Gullion Media, the most wonderful producer that I come across in a very long time. I knew him in the BBC 25 years ago.
Right.
But now George, he has founded Gullion Media. He is producing the book, and it's everything, every sixpence of the money on the book is going to the schools in Africa.
Right.
Everything. I'm funding the book myself. Well, you know how we in Uri fund things.
Yes.
Some men go to the credit union to get £5,000 for a car. I go to the credit union to get £5,000 for my book. And that'll do it, finish it, and that's done. That's my expense. So everything that comes in on the book goes straight to Father Donal Cahan of the SMA and our school in Africa. That's what's happening.
I applaud you, sir.
No,
I absolutely applaud you.
I'm doing it.
Time, yeah.
But I'm doing it as much for me because it's my magnum opus. It's the great work of my life. I've had the privilege of 10 years in Africa and India watching the work of the SMA fathers and the OLA sisters, men and women of courage, in a land here, in a church that's full of crap and rottenness and dirt and filth that they're fighting their way out of now and are being pulled back down into it with the news that's constantly coming of babies in tombs, 700 odd babies buried in a septic tank.
800.
800, and it's still going on.
Yeah.
Now, where I see good priests and sisters, by gum, I hail them, I praise them, I lift them up. But where I see the bad, I talk about it, and I do so with dedication and constancy. But these men and women of Africa, they're huge, and I've had the privilege of working with them. And all my book, it's not about me. My book is about what I have seen, what these eyes have seen, what these ears have heard, what these hands have touched, what these nostrils have smelt in Africa and in India.
And the mouth, what has tasted.
Has tasted it,
I'm
right.
sure you've got some rare tastes out there.
Ah, God, yes, yes. Well, it's mostly, I remember lying under a tree. I was looking up, I could have been in my back garden in Newry. I was looking up through the filigree of green. I could see the blue sky above, the African sun in a blue African sky beaming down in the middle of the afternoon. And I'm dozing on a bench, a rough bench made out of coconut tree wood. And I hear the little voice say, hello, hello. And I look, and there's two wee ones standing there. And they bring me a calabash, a small, like a half a coconut, full of grey, brown liquid. And they say, for you, for you. And I sit up and I take some of it. It's the African beer that they make in the bush.
The
and I have
beer?
oh, yeah. The gia that they make in the bush. And it's there. What they do is they take the guinea corn, or they take the maize, they mash it, and they boil it, and then they add whatever to it, and it brings out the alcohol in it, and it becomes a good bush beer. And that's the poor people, they don't have much else to do except farm. they farm, they're honest. When people say to me about folk in Africa, they're rascals and rogues, the people I know are just folk who have nothing, who struggle to get enough food from the ground and pray that the wet season and the dry season come when they should come, and then what they've left over they sell at the Saturday market. These are good people.
Well, I'm sure if we lived our lives like that, we would be rascals. There's no use saying it otherwise. You know, you're saying that these people they live off the land.
Yeah, these are good. Now,
you know,
people in a city, people in cities in Africa who are down on their luck, they're clever, they're inventive, they find a way through. But where I am, there's no such thing as tarred roads. There's no such thing as electricity. There's often no such thing as clothing. Nakedness is the style. They have bones through their noses. They are primitive people. They are people of a Stone Age ilk. And the women, when we're in the mud hut with the reservoir stone, and they have the corn in the stone, and they have a stone, they're rubbing it like that and grinding it. That's how they grind the stuff. Then they boil it, and that's the food. So I would eat some of that. And then, of course, chickens. The chicken that's running around the compound in the morning is on the table in the evening. Cassava, like a long potato, the root vegetable from the ground, absolutely lovely. It's great. You can boil it, you can fry it, you can do what you will. And then you have plantain. Plantain is like a vegetable banana.
Like a huge banana that
yes, lovely.
And you can only you can only heat it up to eat it.
Yeah,
you can't eat it raw.
No,
don't make the mistake eating plantain.
So that's the book. The book is in praise of the fathers of the Society of African Missions and the Sisters of Our Lady of the Apostles, and the work they're doing across the world. And you know something? What they're doing across the world is wonderful. They're following in the footsteps of the God of love, the Christian God, the Christ man God, or God man of 2,000 years ago, who said, love your neighbor. Full stop. There's nothing more complicated than that. Love your neighbor. Take everything else and parcel it up and throw it in the canal or the river. Forget about it. Let it wash out to sea and go away. You need nothing other than what they are doing. God and love. Charity and love equals God. The old Tese chant, ubi caritas et amor Deus ibi est. That's where charity and love are, there is God. And that's what these people are. It's good. It's good.
That's great. I have to say, Rowan, you're not a material guy. You're not.
No.
You don't drive a big Mercedes or Bentley or anything like that.
No.
Yeah, you drive okay. So what you drive does you.
I
right?
call it my Mr. Bean mobile.
And it is a Mr. Bean mobile.
It's great.
And
it's
I give
great.
you, any time I see you, I get the window down, give you an old
Oh,
razor.
absolutely, absolutely.
But what I'm saying is, Rowan, you know, you don't see Rowan coming in with the latest iPad. You don't see Rowan coming in with, you know, Armani suits. Don't get me wrong. He's got McGee from Donegal Tweed.
I'll go for McGee. Look, my BlackBerry's stuck together with sellotape.
With sellotape.
It's all good.
So what I'm saying is, you're not a material person. You're the type of man that you've been out at sea most of your life. You can live off the land.
Oh,
let's face it. Let's face it. You're content with just enough to keep you going, aren't you? Really?
Well, the African thing started with me living 10 years ago on £1 a day.
£1
for a
a
month.
day.
And that got it started. And that brought in £10,000. We're now £750,000 further down the road and still going. And the book will constantly, you know, whenever I'm dead and gone, the book will inspire other people. People will read and say, I want to do something there, I want to help there. And let that be the case. I hope that happens. But the older you get, I can tell you this for certain, the less you need. Now, I was never an acquisitive person, never one who needed everything. But the more you have, the more you're entrapped by what you have. The more you don't have, the freer you are. And somebody said to me about what advice would I give a young person starting off? And I said, challenge, challenge, and challenge. Don't take things for granted. And value nothing other than the value you put on valuing nothing. Give things away. It gives you a freedom. You know, it's a great thing. It's just huge. I find it useful.
Yeah. But now, you're 70 years young.
70 years of age, 29th of May 1944.
You've packed a lot of stuff into your 70 years, haven't you?
Sure have, baby.
You know, the smile says it all, friends. The smile says it all. Look at this man. He's been everywhere. He's been every part of the globe.
Been a few places.
He's met many a different race of people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All colours, all creeds. And that's
So
the right
good.
way to do it, isn't it?
I think so. I value diversity, and my program now has its mantra in the mornings on Destination Uri. My program has as its mantra: no to hate crime, no to racism, because whether a man or woman is Catholic or Protestant, Pakistani, Afghanistani, Irish, English, Welsh, Scottish, whatever, African, whatever, that man will. It's a cliche. Bleeds the same way, hurts the same way, cries the same way, laughs the same way, comes into the world the same way, is made the same way before coming into the world, and leaves the world in the same way.
Yeah.
What's complicated? We're part of the human family. Let's get on with it.
Let's get on with it. And
Absolutely.
absolutely. And, you know, racism does rear its ugly head, unfortunately, a lot, you know, everywhere. It's not just Northern Ireland, you know, it's everywhere, really. But racists, be gone.
Be gone.
Just go.
No to racism.
You know,
no to hate crime.
No,
Yeah.
definitely. We don't want that, you know, because we went through the troubles here, as you know, and it was a rough enough time. Now, we don't want it to go back to them days.
No, not at
you
all.
know, so racism, and you know, it's a minor part over here after what we went through.
Oh,
you know, you would have to agree
yeah, we
there.
are, yeah.
You know,
So we need to stop it.
but that's why the troubles we went through. We are glad to see foreign people, foreign nationals coming in. I'd be glad to see them.
Oh, absolutely.
You
So
know,
they're great people. I
but
love
it-
them.
it-
You know.
but it
And if
should-
somebody gives you hassle, you say to the person, "Look, I want to talk to you. I don't like what you're doing to me. I'm not hurting you. You leave me alone." You have a one-to-one with them. But you don't. Somebody said, "What would you do if Hitler came to kill your people? Would you kill his? No, you'd kill Hitler. You wouldn't wipe his people out."
Yeah.
So there are good people. There are good Romanians. There are good Egyptians. There are good Afghanistan people all over the world. There are bad there too.
Yeah.
But I say make love, not war. Now on that topic, my number is 572-958 if you're a lady of a particular wish to... Did I say that? No, I didn't. I'm only joking, honestly. Well, it depends. Like, I might not be. What can
Yeah,
you do?
well, let's get back. Let's
Yeah.
get back there.
You want to talk to me about making love? And how
No,
much I
thank-
enjoyed
thanks
it
for the
all night.
offer. It's
no,
very
no,
kind
no,
of
no,
you.
no. I'm telling you about the
But
joy.
I'm
talking
definitely
about
not going there.
I'm telling you about the joy I've had with the females in my life for the entirety of my life. They were all little angels sent to me.
Right.
And they all regarded me as an absolute treasure.
Well, angels. There's angels, and then there's hell's angels. So I don't know which type of angels he's talking
This
about.
is banter, and you know we have to laugh and tell
We
the
have to have
occasional
a laugh.
lie. We do.
You know,
we
because
do.
as I say, it's not often I meet Rowan. Well, you know, it's only a passing glance.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the odd quick
How you
conversation.
doing?
You know, Riser, how you doing?
I'm
And then that's
fine.
it. You know,
Yeah.
and that's it. But the odd time we do come down to the studio, it's always
yeah.
a good old bit of banter, something fresh.
absolutely,
You know,
absolutely,
and as I say,
absolutely.
because it's my last show today
you're-
for a while, got this man in.
But you're talking about me being
Yeah.
around the world and doing things.
Yes.
You have quite a provenance in the world of acting and things that you have done. You think you should tell the people a little about it?
Well, I could tell them, but then they don't want to hear it. They want to hear a bit
They
of banter, for
wanna hear
God's
it.
sake.
They want to know about you. He's a good guy.
Funny,
Yeah.
a film was in, short film, I got a call. It was an emergency one. There's, well, Tony, are you an actor? Yeah, I do a bit of, yeah. There's an actor let us down. Could you come? Could you come? We'll send. I says, where's the script? What time?
Yeah.
We'll be down here today. This was what, I think it was at 1 o'clock
Wow.
during the day. I come over here, done a Banter show, went back home. 3 o'clock, I got the email with the script in it. 4 o'clock, I was in Rostravar. 4:30, I actually got the physical script handed to me, not the email. And at 5:30, I was on set.
Wow.
Done our thing, and then that was it. We're there to, I think, 10 o'clock at night. And terrific job, terrific direction.
You
The
see, it
guy
was very-
knows what he's doing,
yeah,
you know.
It was good because the 10 o'clock was important, because had it been to 8 o'clock, you would only have got 3,500. It went to 10, you got the whole 5.
Yeah. Haven't a clue what he's talking about there, friends, by the way. You know yourself. It was a quick
sweet
emergency
Lord.
job. It
Yeah.
was done. But the world of acting is just completely... 1 minute you could be sword fighting in the mornings at 2 o'clock in the morning. The next thing you could be just driving a car with a balaclava on you. And all you have to do is stop the car. It's
Doesn't
great.
it beat coming into an office and sitting at an office desk all day long?
Do you know what it beats, Rowan? It beats jackhammering.
Oh yeah.
It beats working out in the roads.
Absolutely.
And that's why I'm doing it, because
Absolutely.
these bad boys here are absolutely banjacks.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to do something with my life.
But
you know.
how did you banjax your hand? Were you hitting people?
Well, I've been hitting people all my life, you know, but no.
But I mean, you're a boxer.
Using vibrating machinery.
Very
Absolutely.
important.
No, not vibrators, but vibrating machinery.
I said nothing.
You know, such as jackhammers, such as whacker plates, such as everything, power saws and all.
Yeah.
So, unaware to us at the time, we were unaware
You're
of this
putting your
condition.
shoulders out and you're putting your joints out.
Where?
Well, your shoulders would bend with your rotator cuff and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But I
You're
mean,
wrecking yourself.
You're wrecking yourself,
But
surely.
we didn't know at the time. But moving on swiftly, you know, and as I say, speaking of vibration equipment, I must get you. That brought me on to something special. We have a present for you.
Hey, that
We're
sounds
not going to
good.
say it in our friends, you know.
Where does he go? He's incorrigible. What would you do with him, I tell you?
Nobody can do anything with me. I just have to do it to myself. And then
Right,
get out of here, you know.
go.
So
go.
what's happening then with yourself? The book. What's the book called?
It's a very simple title, although it doesn't seem at first. It's Caritas et Amor.
That's the title.
Yeah, Caritas et Amor, ... in the footsteps of love. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. So charity and love, the thing I was telling you about the Daisy chant, Caritas et Amor, in the footsteps of love. It is pictorially magnificent, because I took my first photograph. If a monkey took his first photograph when he was 12, at the age of 50, 60, he would be doing good photographs if he was given the best camera in the world.
Absolutely.
So that was the case with me. I took my first photograph at 12.
Sorry, what was the camera you were using?
The camera was a Yashica mat. I bought it in D.L. McCardle's on Hill Street in Newry from Tony Coleman.
Now they were quality.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They were real quality.
But this was a nice camera, and then I had a Hasselblad and used a Hasselblad as I came on in life.
Then you're messing with the big boys, aren't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I had the experience of taking photographs, and if you take a man who has that experience over the years, and who has developed a kind of a pictorial eye, and you give him a Nikon single lens camera in there, and you drop them into Africa or into India, you're necessarily going to get lots of National Geographic moments. And that's basically what I got for the book. And the imagery is stunning. And of course the words, again, from the age of 20, I've been writing words. Now I'm not the greatest, I'm far, far, far from the greatest writer in the world, or even a good writer, but I try hard. And I know what good writing is, so I try hard to emulate great writers and do my best. So the stories are told simply and colourfully. And it's, I came across the suicide of a priest in India, in Chennai. I went there to rescue the boy of India, Tony, and while I was there, the priest, I saw him in his glass coffin and the people falling about themselves in tears, spreading petals of roses on the coffin and around. The father had taken his own life and no one knew why, Father Jerome. And Father Jerome was a young priest, and his housekeeper had found him hanging on a cord in the sanctuary of his house or the church, and no one could say why, and these people were just in bits because of it. Then I went out into the countryside thereby and came across a rural cooperative where the people had been terrorized by their landlords for a long time until these sisters of India came along, and they bought the land and they give the people the land, and the people raised their own crops on the land. They wove in a very, very primitive mill their own silk that was turned into the garments of India, and suddenly they were a community that were prospering. And those sisters, they were moving to Calcutta, and they were going to Calcutta to start a home for women, young women who had been prostitutes on the streets, to give them a way out of that. And the SMA fathers in Kellambarde, they were looking at purchasing that land and keeping the thing going on as a cooperative for the people. So all of that, and then then going out with the well diggers and seeing the men who could dig down into the ground of Africa, 60 feet down, straight, and
How did they do that?
it's just as amazing. There are families who have done it for years for some reason. And the water, of course, as you know, is the gold of Africa, the oil of Africa.
Thing, yeah.
And with the people, it goes back into history. How the man came and there was the water was in the ground, but there was a snake that lived there and kept people away from the water. So the man came as the savior of the people, kind of resonances of the Christian story that was to come later. The man came to save the people, but he came as a god-like man with a sword that he had specially made to kill the snake. No other sword could kill the snake. And he killed the snake and opened the wells to the people, and the people suddenly were able to live and have food. And I've seen men, we were in the middle of the country, and I can't any longer say exactly where we are, because there are terrible things happening in parts of Africa at the moment, awful things. In fact, in northeast Nigeria yesterday evening, another couple of hundred people were wiped out, and the people were running for their lives from the village. And there was one eyewitness talking this morning on the World Service, saying that the soldiers who came ran away with the people because Boko Haram were better armed than the soldiers. So the people are still being terrorized and have an awful time of it. And one is aware of all of that kind of thing going on. But education is at the heart of progress, always.
Yeah.
And if people are educated, the heart of progress, people are making their progress. And in fact, they're the leaders of tomorrow, of the time to come.
Yeah. But it's absolutely shocking on a scale, the likes of that Boko Haram. These guys are just out on their own. And as you say, they're actually bigger than some of the police forces.
Yeah, they are.
They're bigger than some of the militias.
Yeah.
But these guys, they just fear absolutely nobody. The life is very cheap to them, as you know.
Well, they're driven by their beliefs, and those beliefs are not our beliefs.
Yeah.
And I'd like to tell Peter Robinson that they're not the beliefs of the Muslim community in Northern Ireland either.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Peter, when he was talking about it, the First Minister,
Yeah.
was saying that he wouldn't trust Muslims who were terrorists.
No, he says
None of us would.
No, he says Muslims.
Muslim. He wouldn't trust them who were terrorists. None
Yeah.
of us would.
Yeah.
He wouldn't trust Muslim people who held Sharia law to be right. None of us would.
No.
So why was he saying that at all? Then he said he would allow them to go to the shops for him. That was horrible. It was dreadful.
That's looking down
Yeah.
your nose at people.
But then he sorted it out. He made his apology. And one of the things he said, he hadn't said anything, but
Yeah.
one of the things he said, I can't spend the rest of my life apologizing for what I did and what I said, but I can spend the rest of my life trying to make Northern Ireland a better place for all its people. We're going to hold him to that.
Well, he's made a few mistakes before. You know, this is just a fresh new one, you know. Look, we can all rattle away about this and that. And people forget he was in the third force and all that, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's on about terrorists.
Ah, yeah.
Wasn't he in the third force?
all
Anyway,
know.
let's get away. Peter, wise yourself up.
Absolutely. I think he has, actually.
you know,
He's made the apology and it's been accepted by the people, and that's it.
What was good was he went to the Islamic Centre and the Muslim Centre and met them.
Yep.
And I think that was more, you know, instead of making it an apology to a camera on a TV screen.
No, he did it right.
You know, he
did
done
it
it
right.
right.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
we applaud him there. So
And then the Deputy First Minister, he went the next day and did it. But hate crime, no.
No,
Racism, no.
no, definitely not.
big-
It's bad. It's bad.
The big thumbs down.
Oh, the
for
big
it.
thumbs down. Because don't forget, when you're in Africa, you're a foreigner.
Oh, absolutely.
When you know, it's when I was in America, when I was in Hong Kong, I'm a foreigner.
Yeah.
You know, and there's us Irish. We're all around the globe.
We are indeed.
Every part of this globe, there's somebody from Ireland in it. You know, and even the likes of Peter Robinson, if he just puts on a pair of jeans and a shirt and goes to England, some of the local English are going to call,
Oh, he's
all
Paddy.
right, Paddy.
Yeah, that's what he'll be called.
Now, you wouldn't like that.
No,
but
that's
that's the
what
way
they
of the
regard
world.
it as.
You know, that's the way of the world. You know.
Did it tell you about my grave since I saw you last?
You told me you did. No, hold on. It's up at say the tree in the corner of the graveyard. Am I right?
It's on the pathway, on the way up. At 70, one needs to do this because you need to be sure where you're going to go.
Right.
And the municipality will not sell a man a grave until he dies.
Right.
Which is it's a big sort of assumption that there would be someone there after I die, who would care enough to buy me a grave,
Yeah.
rather than just sail me out to sea, which would be all right too. But
would you like to get the board? You know, because there's a little guy down in the market. Razor Bobby and Bobby's,
hi, Bobby, how are
Bobby's
you?
great crack. Bobby's dad's actually Pakistan.
Yeah.
from
Oh, they'd be
Pakistan,
cremated.
and his mother's from Belfast.
Yes,
you know.
yes.
And great, the best of crack. I know them this years. The lads are class.
Good
And
people.
I met Bobby one day, and he said to me, "Well, Mucker," he says, "you look to be in bad old form." And I says, "I'm only coming from a wake, and now I have to go to a funeral." And he says, "I'll see all that, I'll carry on." He says, "See, when I go," he says, "they're going to put me on a boat, set fire to it, and push me down the river."
It's one
and
way of doing it.
I said to Bobby, "You're not going down Uri Canal."
No,
You
no,
know
no,
what I
no,
mean?
no. The
But-
canal was great. You know, the river was great too. I remember part of the story of my growing up is in the book, and it's my birth in Mary Street. And I was born in the front room of number 5 Mary Street.
Number 5.
And the head of the bed was between the two windows sash windows that looked out onto the street. And there was, I remember, an aspidistra plant in a ceramic bowl on the left-hand window seat. And Ma Graham, 2 doors down from us, was the midwife. And I was born there. And now I go and I sometimes stand outside number 5 and look up at the sky under which I was born. And it gives me a contact with my roots. And my father had lived across the street in number 20, my mother in number 5 where I was born. And it was a great place in those days. And I had recommended 30 years ago that Mary Street should be taken and the houses should have been refurbished, should have been made magnificent for young families, social housing. So that the kind of family community of Mary Street would have been held on to. But no, it was let go into bric-a-brac and other sorts of shops there indeed. I remember Mary Street on a winter's evening going to the door and looking down the street, and the fog would have come up the river.
It would have come up the river, yeah.
And over the top of the houses and filled Mary Street.
Wow.
And through the fog, it was Dickensian, I could see the green lights of the Albert Basin shining through. And if Long John Silver and his band of pirates had emerged from the mist of the evening time, I wouldn't have been surprised.
No.
It was Dickensian, it was wonderful, it was Mary Street.
Mary
and
Street.
I really loved it. And I remember it so well.
Right in the heart of Newry too.
Right in the heart of Newry. I couldn't be more Newry if I tried.
If you tried.
You know.
Where else? Now, there's a lot of them wee streets all gone. Castle Street's gone.
Castle Street's gone.
Nicholson's Court's gone.
Gone.
You know, when you think of them all.
George's Lane is still there, but is nothing. It used to be a
That's right.
community of people.
That's right,
Of
George's
families,
Lane.
happy people. You know,
Yeah.
all of that was there. And I remember the O'Reilly family across the street from us. Liam went on to be the proprietor of one of the most successful haulage companies in the British Isles.
O'Reilly Transport.
And he started with his father, Oney Riley, across the street with nothing, selling stuff out of a second-hand furniture. Jack Daly, the chemist, was next door to him. He sold wallpaper, paint, was the chemist, sold pet mice and pets. It was the whole thing in there together. And I remember somebody said the first day that Oney Riley, it was one of the Rileys, told me, when he got his van, his first van, the boy said to him, "Oney, I remember you when you had nothing." And Oney replied, "Not half as well as I do." And that was it. But Liam used to collect refuse, you know, the stuff that was left over in the houses from the skins and the cabbage leaves and all that, to
the
feed
pigs.
to the hens and the pigs at the back of the house. That's how he started.
My
you know.
goodness.
I remember the day that Johnny McCabe, the great-grandfather of the current Raymond McCabe's clan, Johnny came and was a Mary Street man from Belfast, and I used to play down the yard there. And until about 10 years ago, my name on the wooden gate down into the yard was carved, R.H., that I'd put there when I was 11 years of age. It was still there. And to this day, the cobblestones that were at the front on Mary Street of the yard, on the Mary Street path, the cobblestones were taken up by Raymond when they moved out the Belfast Road, and they are now they were now put down in front of the door into his store on the Belfast Road.
Is that right?
That's right. That's absolutely
Big shout out,
right.
Raymond.
Hi, Raymond. How are you?
Good.
Yeah,
Raymond,
they're
I've been
good people.
friendly with Raymond all my life. It's a
Wonderful fellow.
Gentleman.
Yeah, a wonderful
and his
fellow.
father, Huey's another gentleman.
Huey's a great
who-
fellow,
good,
yeah.
Good,
and then Johnny was the start of it all. He used to come up on the train and then would do his stuff. And in those days, he could the stuff would be left in Uri. And then from the market, he went to the yard in Mary Street. It was all good.
So you have good fond memories of the old market.
Oh, huge.
The old market must have been really special compared to the market that
Well,
is.
sure, there's no market
You know.
today. Let's be honest about it. It really, the market should be put out of its misery.
Well, I don't know. It's hanging on traditional
Yeah,
ways.
but
It's been there a long. It's the
They
big
need to do
multinationals.
something with it.
It's the multinationals.
They need
that
to
come
do
in
something
and,
with
you know,
it, yeah.
It's still. It's still traditional ways, because I used to do the markets many a time myself, and
You would have known Huey McKeown.
I knew Huey very well. Yeah, real character, wasn't he? Real character.
Well, that's it. Sean's giving the signals there.
Is Sean giving the signal? I'm sorry, friends. Well, I didn't know our man Sean's giving us the old time out
Wow,
there. You know.
he's saying, well, start to wind her
Time
up.
out, time
We're going,
out.
don't rush it. Just
No,
wind
no,
her
no.
up at your own pace.
Oh, yes.
Wind her up.
Well,
Nicely.
friends, I want to thank everybody that has tuned in all around the world. Thank you so much, and I've really enjoyed your messages of support, your little messages on Twitter and Facebook, emails. Thank you very much. I really appreciate everything you're doing, and I'll be back at some stage, so keep in touch with me, and if you want to come in for the banter, we'll work it out whenever I come back. You know what I'm saying to you? Isn't that right, Rowan?
Absolutely.
But it's great to wind it down here today with my main man himself. I asked him yesterday, didn't I?
You
I
did,
says, I
you
haven't
did.
seen you in a while, and I think it's about time we had our banter on the last show. And it's a pleasure.
I'm reluctant to shake his hand because that's a physical indication that the show has come to an end.
So, on that note, I want you to get two on the right, one on the left, and give them all a big
what was
riser.
that? Oh,
Two on the right,
two on the right,
one
and
on the left, and give it a riser.
And what do I say?
Just riser.
Riser.
Riser, friends. We're out of here.
Riser.
Destination Banter with Tony Smith. Riser.